YouTube, welcome to my channel, Taylor Talks Tales. Today I have a book review for you. This also is the video that marks, from going forward, everything's going to be uploaded basically sort of in real time. I promise I'm not going to be making and uploading 10 videos a day because that's kind of crazy, but I had a huge backlog of videos. So now I'm caught up. Going forward, I'm going to be uploading things pretty much as I'm reading the book or, everything like that. So let's get started on the review. I'm going to be reviewing Little Heaven by Nick Cutter today. We're going to read the inside flap and then I'll get started. A trio of mismatched mercenaries, Micah Shugru, Minerva Atwater, and Ebenezer Elkins, colloquially known as the Englishmen, is hired by young Ellen Belhaven for a deceptively simple task: check in on her nephew, who may have been taken against his will to a remote New Mexico backwoods settlement called Little Heaven, where a clandestine religious cult holds sway. But shortly after they arrive, things begin to turn ominous. There are stirrings in the woods and over the treetops, and, above all else, a brooding shape of a monolith known as the Black Rock casts its terrible pall. Paranoia and distrust soon grip the settlement. Escape routes are gradually cut off as events spiral towards madness. Hell, or the closest thing to it, invades Little Heaven. All present here are now forced to take a stand and fight back, but whatever has its dark eyes set on Little Heaven is marshalling its powers, and it wants them all. Alright, so I recently read The Troop, did a review on it, I'll link it in the bottom. Loved it. 5 out of 5 stars, creeped me out, I just got super sucked into it. It was super good. And so I had extremely high hopes for this one. In fact, when I first heard of Nick Cutter, this was the book I actually was wanting to read first, but I ended up picking up The Troop first. And I think because I really find cults fascinating, and it seemed like there was something weird going on with this, and I was just very excited about that. There's one of my favorite short clips, or basically like a short film that's within the film, is in the anthology VHS 2, which is the found footage film where there's a cult. I love that. Well, I just love VHS 2. That movie is fantastic, and that sequence in it in particular where it's at the cult, I loved it. It was so good. It just drawed me in, and it's crazy and insane and awesome. So and there's a ton of other movies that I really enjoy, and there's quite a few books out there. I might even do a video on cults and stuff. So I had very high expectations for this. And I think I may have had slightly too high of expectations. I enjoyed this book, but it wasn't as good as The Troop to me, and I didn't fall in love with it. I would reread it, but I think there are a couple things for this. So I really liked the characters, the 3 main characters in particular, the mercenaries. It's really hilarious how they end up meeting. Is they basically, we're all trying to kill each other, and that's how they meet towards the beginning of the novel. And basically, instead of a meet cute, it's a meet kill. Sorry, I just really wanted to make that joke. Anyway, so one of the things I had issues with this book is I actually think it would have been told it would have been a lot stronger of a book had it been told in a linear fashion. And I'm not necessarily opposed to a non-linear way of telling stories. There are quite a few books that I enjoy that don't have a non-linear, or they have like a past and present. I think this one though, it took away a lot of the stress and like worry and getting, like horrified for the characters, because you know that they're gonna come back. They're still alive 15 years later. And like I could kind of see why the author was doing that, but I actually think that took away a little bit from that from the 1960s era, because basically the book is told in the 1960s and then the 1980s. And he obviously did a good job researching the time. He had a lot of authentic 60s and 80s references in here. So I think that took away a little bit from the tension for me. And I think because I tend to like a little bit of mystery and sort of unveiling of things throughout the book, or just wild ride where it's just like things keep going and keep going and keep going. And so that's what I had a little bit of issue with in this book. And I think also too the character, the lead preacher dude of Little Heaven, while I liked how he reminded me of Jim Jones, I felt like he was almost ripped straight from Jim Jones, and I kind of wanted a little bit more complexity to his character rather than him just being the evil cult leader dude. But other than that, though, so it sounds like I'm not like I didn't like this book, but I did enjoy this book. I liked the character development. I enjoyed the creepy kids and the it's very Lovecrafty in certain ways, like these unimaginable horrors. And I'm a big Lovecraft fan, so and just like, you know, cosmic horror or creature feature. And this book also does not shy away on like the gore. It doesn't shy. I mean, Nick Cutter does an amazing job describing scenes. He just does a really good job with that, and he has a way with words that the action scenes are still gonna just suck you right in. And I did like that a lot. There are a couple things I did also feel like I had to suspend disbelief on a little bit, especially with like injuries and stuff where I'm like, would you really have survived that? But anyway, that's the kind of stuff I don't mind suspending for fiction. So yeah, no, I enjoyed it. It definitely kind of reminds me a little bit, there's quite a few things that remind me a little bit of this. Some of Robert McCammon's work and some of Clive Barker's work, actually. I felt like he was very, Nick Cutter was probably inspired by that. I've seen some people unfairly just rip on this book and say, oh, it's just a Stephen King knockoff. I disagree with that. I know it's very much inspired by Stephen King, like sort of the writing style, sort of the way the characterization a little bit. But I feel like this book will hold up on its own. It has a lot of inspiration and pulled from a lot of things, but I don't think that made it necessarily bad. I do also, one other criticism I have of it is that it was a little slow at the beginning, especially because you kind of get to know these characters a little bit. But I felt like it slightly dragged. Like it actually, I sat down, was super excited, started reading it, and then I was a little bit like distracted. So I had to just really focus myself and be like, okay, just keep going. And sure enough, once it picked up, it really picked up, and then I really liked it. And then it makes sense that there were, you get the characters' backstories and stuff. And there definitely were a lot of unique elements in this as well. And, I definitely say it's kind of a wild ride, a lot of fun, enjoyable, especially once the ball gets rolling. I just wish that it made a few changes, because that would have changed. I feel like I probably am giving this book like 3.75 or 4, maybe. If I didn't go into it with any expectations and just picked it up, it would have been a 4, because it was a Nick Cutter book and I just read The Troop. I almost want to take off that quarter star, but ultimately I'll probably just still give it a 4. It's fun. It just could have been a little stronger, I think. Especially because I had that The Troop was great. I still want to read other Nick Cutter books. He has, I think, 2 others out, and then another one's going to be coming out. I really want to read The Deep, because I love ocean, anything related to the ocean and marine biology, and I really liked Into the Drowning Deep by Myra Grant. Just thought that was awesome, and that also had to do with the Mariana Trench. And I just definitely think there's so much potential with ocean horror. I'm very excited about that one. And then the other one's The Acolyte, and I'm gonna get to it at some point, but I'm not quite as excited about that, because I think it's supposed to be more like a noir type cop book or something. But yeah, so overall, definitely check out Little Heaven. I know I almost made it seem like it's not worth it, but it is. It's fun, it's engaging, the action scenes are great, the characters are like really fun and unique, like you're following these 3 bounty hunters, and there's just a lot of like neat visuals. Like basically, I don't want to spoil too much, because I think it's good not knowing what you're getting into. But there's like a Pied Piper-esque character that's like really creepy and plays flutes and like summons kids and all that stuff. There's definitely creepy children and just crazy crap happening, and so it is enjoyable. It's an enjoyable ride, and just go into it, knowing you should plug through the first like maybe quarter of the book, and then you'll start getting to the meat of the stuff. Oh, and also I forgot, there are some drawings. like some ink-esque drawings in here that are pretty neat. If I can just, yeah, see. There's one where bounty hunters are going off. They escape after they basically like shot each other up and then ended up coming together, and yeah, I thought that part was like very fun. In fact, it almost reminded me slightly of Quentin Tarantino a little. I don't know. It was very fun. Oh, let's see. Any other cool? Oh yeah, this is at the compound type thing. So I did think that the drawings were also pretty fun. I liked having them in there. But yeah. So ultimately, I would give this a 4 out of 5 stars. Maybe if I reread it, I will, because sometimes when I reread, I change my ranking a little bit. So I may update it if I do end up reading it again at some point, and I probably will. I know I'm going to read The Troop again. I'll probably read this as well. So anyway, thank you so much for watching my video. If you've read it, let me know what you thought about it. If you have any questions, anything like that, please let me know. I'm going to link my review to The Troop down below. Thank you so much. Have an awesome day, happy reading, and I will talk to you guys later.